They call me Deacon Blues. Dun, 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 dun. Remember that song, Next Time You Turn the Lights Down, fellas. Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know where I went there. Yeah, very, moody song.
What are you looking at? You look very nervous.
Do I?
Very shifty-eyed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't mean to
Did you do
be.
something bad?
I rearranged my camera setup, and I'm not sure how it's going to work, if it's working out. What do you think?
It looks pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm trying to show off my books.
It's kind of like waiting for somebody to step out from behind that curtain.
Oh. Great. Well, I guess we'll just have to watch right to the end and see what happens. All right? See
Is there going to be a surprise? What's back there?
Well, I hope it's not going to be a surprise. There's nothing back there.
Okay. As far as you know.
As far as I know. Yeah. But no, I just switched. I used to like be up against this wall actually.
Mm-hmm.
So you see this wall right here? See this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See that? So I used to be up against. That's why it was always so blue. But I was also like really crammed in there with my computer chair for work all day. So I was like, I think I'm gonna try and get out of this. And so I did. But then it leaves me with this backdrop. So I'm just, workshopping. I'm workshopping.
Well, it is October, month of the horror movies. It kind of reminds me of Halloween a little bit.
Yeah.
Like somebody's going to step out from behind that with a knife.
Yeah, would it? Say the wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. I did this last time. Didn't I do this for Hotel California at the end of that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah? Okay. Old joke. Old news. There we go.
Wow.
Let's go. Get it back to blue. There we go. Yeah, but that's okay.
So,
What's up, man? How you doing?
what's your story?
Yeah, man. I was trying to. Of course.
Uh-oh.
Well, see, like I was trying to think of what my story was. Oh yeah, that was it. That's right. Yeah, I learned to work the saxophone this week. Yeah. No,
No.
you didn't learn to work the saxophone.
No, that's actually, that's good. I like that. I'm
Yeah?
good with that. That is good.
Yeah, I just been drinking
Scotch whiskey.
Scotch whiskey.
All night long, die behind the wheel.
I wanted to skip the last part. I think I'm going to try and skip the last part. But hey, man, from here on out, just call me Deacon Blues. I was trying to remember the Scotch whiskey line, and then it was the saxophone line, and yeah. Asia,
Asia.
Ajay. Mm-hmm. What was it like? When this came out? Tell me, when this came out, what was it like? No, I wonder. You know?
I don't know. I started listening to Steely Dan when I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about Steely Dan. I mean, I kind of had an idea, but it was not my thing until much later.
See, that makes sense. I remember I worked with a guy who was like, oh man, my parents used to make me listen to Steely Dan, and it was like, it wasn't like, it was like, oh, it just reminded me of like dad rock or something like that, or parent, So that was my introduction a little bit to Steely Dan was like, oh, it's for old people. Mm-hmm. So I never really. This is the first time I've listened to Steely Dan. Well, I know Dirty Work, and what was that other one?
My Old School.
No. What was the other one?
Reelin' in the Years?
Yeah, Reelin' in the Years. That's right. My dad said that one. He's like, do you know Reelin' in the Years? Because my dad loves this album. But I was like, what do I know from Steely Dan? He's like, Reelin' in the Years? Yeah. And then I remember Dirty Work. I'm a fool to do your dirty work.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Not my old school, eh? You'd like that song,
I
actually.
mean, maybe
A
if I
little bit.
listened to it, but could not pinpoint any Steely Dan
Hmm.
ahead of this.
3 big singles from this record.
Yeah.
See, I was going to give you the first record, but I don't know. I kind of felt like this. If we're talking about Steely Dan, this is the record to talk
Hmm.
about.
Okay.
Yeah, Can't Buy a Thrill was their first record, and there's a lot of good songs on that one too. A lot of very popular songs, but I feel like this is the one that we should look at.
Hmm. I don't know. Do you want to get in and start talking about it, or do you want to hear my take? What do you think? Where
First,
do you think I'm leaning?
before things get ugly, I want to call to your attention. First of all, I don't know if you tried this
What do you got?
Rabbit Hole. Have you tried that? It's almost done. It's a fun
No, I
little number.
haven't tried it.
Good, but this one is
Okay.
from the U.S. of A, and it is called Jefferson's Ocean. See that?
Wow. Okay.
So the story behind this, you can't get it in Canada.
Hmm.
This is Aged at Sea. So it was just kind of happened upon that they took some shipping route and noticed that the taste of the bourbon and the thickness of it and the viscosity changed. And they theorized that it was because of the way the casks, kind of floated on the ocean, the infusion of sea salt. And so they started to fool around with it. And now they age this stuff at sea to get the special color and the viscosity and the taste of it. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it tastes good, it's cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. So good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jefferson's.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Sorry, where'd you get it? Did you order it, or someone bring it back for you? Can you buy it
Yeah,
here?
a buddy brought it back for me. I had it on O'Malley's boat for the first time, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
just like tremendous. But you can't get it here. So somebody told me they were going, and I told them to pick up a bottle. But it's like it's like $130 a bottle. Whereas I know.
Okay.
Whereas like a basil or anything
Yeah.
else is 60, 65.
Yeah, we thought, and we think that their prices are steep. So
I know.
yeah, there you go. Well, you got to splurge every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good. It's tasty. How often are you going to drink it? Are you going to go through that?
That's going to be a special occasion bottle.
Is it?
Well, I want it to last until next summer, and then I'll get another one.
I was gonna say, like, it could be a special occasion bottle, but how often? The problem with special occasion bottles is then you just keep pouring and you keep pouring, and you're just like, we're just drinking the special occasion bottle, and by the time that night is done, the bottle almost always is too.
Right. So true.
So hold off. Good on you if you can hold off, and you can hold off on that till next summer. Nice work.
Well, I'm going to try. I've got Angel's Envy there, bottle of Woodford, 2 Blantons,
How do you still have Blanton's?
Elijah Craig. I haven't opened that yet.
That's
There's another
insane.
one over there. Yeah.
You're crazy, man. My father-in-law's already done his too. Like
Really?
he's oh yeah. Like I mean, I drank it fast just because like I'm an idiot when it comes to drinking, so I just drink. But he usually like, he takes his time. He's got bottles. His bottle of Blanton's is done. It's like wow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to enjoy it.
No, good. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, hey, look at we're newbies, right? We were like, oh, Blanton's, and we drank it. We drank way too fast. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
Right on, man. But Rabbit Hole's good too. I'm still drinking Yellowstone, so I haven't been out to get a new bottle of anything just yet, but holding strong.
Good. So let's talk about.
Do you care to ask how much I cared for Steely Dan's Asia?
I'm gonna guess that you
please.
cared very little for it.
Okay. Expound.
Okay, so
Unpack.
unpack. So the reason why I included that record is just because we were kind of, in a certain place. And I thought if you're a really kind of intense music fan, you will appreciate this record. but it's almost an aspirational listen, right? If you're one of those people, like when I was in high school, for example, I used to listen to music just in a very cheap way. There's no depth at all to it. And then you kind of, excuse me, you aspire a little bit higher. And Steely Dan is up there. And I didn't get into it, like I said, until I was in my 30s. And before then, I probably wouldn't have appreciated the sophistication of it. But it's an important record, and it's very unique, and we'll get into the reasons why. But I kind of put it out there because I wanted to see what you would think of it. I don't think that you'll like it.
I'm in my 30s.
What are you, 32 now?
34. I'll be 34. I'll be 34 this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm almost halfway through my 30s. I'm like, yeah, that's it for me, man. That's it. Life's done. It's over, man. I'm almost 35. Got back in it. I'm kidding. We've had those conversations. Yeah. Well, I'm in my 30s, so here I am. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What's the verdict?
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So we were all leading in for. I am very, very happy to prove you wrong on this. I really loved this album, man.
No way.
I dug this. This is fun. This is phenomenal. This honestly, I was listening to it and I'm like, I know. No, for real. Kudos. No, you need props. Okay.
No, not me. Oh. You. That's fantastic. Think about what I just said in terms of like, and you did this too, I'm sure. Most people did when they were young. You listened to music for like a cheap kind of, thrill, right? It didn't have to be serious. It often mirrored your own personal emotions, and you kind of wore it territorially like a badge, like a Motley Crue. You know what I'm saying? And then as you get older, your breadth kind of increases, and you appreciate things a little bit more. There's a little bit more depth, sophistication, that sort of thing. And that's why I got into Steely Dan, right? Again, I'm repeating myself, but I put it out there to see, almost like a litmus test to see where you're at.
Yeah.
And here you are.
How far along this kid's come. Yeah.
It's so great.
I was like, more albums need to be 7 tracks long.
Right.
And they can make them this length. So like this is 7 songs, 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like if it's this good, you can make it 40 minutes. But like, I loved the length of this. I loved the length, and I know this has kind of been like maybe I'm back and forth, but like the length of some of these songs, I was not put off by, because, man, great stuff. Just great playing together. Like the musicianship, like everything about it is just. You're just listening, man. You're along for the ride. The drumming is insane. Everything that just comes together with these songs is a lot of fun to listen to.
It truly is a cerebral, intellectual listening experience.
Yeah.
Right? But you get that, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah. No, loved it, man. I just really enjoyed like putting it on repeat, and again, you kind of get excited for certain parts of songs, and it's kind of like you just keep listening to it, and you find something new in every listen of an album like this with these types of songs, because there's just so much happening in them.
Yeah,
and it's just so good. So
yeah, no,
killer.
It's so great. I'm glad.
Yeah. I agree, though. I believe that probably 10 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, I would have been like, no thanks. No thanks, Mr. Steely.
Mr. Steely.
Yeah. I can't believe somebody would name their kid Steely, but yeah.
Do you want to talk about the origin of the band name? Or are we just going to gloss over that?
I mean, if you want to,
here's what I will say. Okay, so
I'm kidding. Yeah, yeah. Break it down.
Rennie in the notes last week, or last
Okay.
episode, type the word Burroughs. It is a William Burroughs novel, who's an American writer. I think it was 59. And he wrote a book called The Naked Lunch. And we'll say that Steely Dan got their name from that publication.
Okay.
Good enough.
Sure. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Everybody go do your own research.
That's right.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So the lead singer's name is not Steely, and the last name is not Dan.
It is not. The two band members, there's two guys, Walter Becker and Donald Fagen.
I seen your picture.
So these two guys were kind of like hipsters, right? And I've always thought about these guys because they, somebody described them. They met each other at school, I think, and they just would like stay in their dorm room and nobody saw them. And they're like vampires. And they said, they would wear these black clothes, but their skin was like white, like yogurt. And they were like these hipsters that would just smoke weed and cigarettes, like one after one after one. And they were just so kind of into their music and weird guys, just so like intellectually kind of dedicated that didn't have the best social cues. They used to play in a backup band for a band called Jay and the Americans. This is like an old band, a 60s, 50s band. And so Jay, the lead singer, called them the Manson Starkweather of rock and roll. Those are serial killers.
Oh, we got it.
So
yeah, they looked a little different. Not to judge a book by its cover here, folks, but you kind of look at a picture of them and you're like, odd.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they would play this kind of music.
And didn't care, didn't play for crowds, didn't play for the masses, played for themselves. And the cool thing for me about Steely Dan, when I think about them, especially this record, is that it was almost like a mix of rock and jazz and pop, right?
Yeah.
But the cool thing, and I think that this is why it was such a successful record, is that you can't really tell what's what. They're fused together so intensely that you can't separate the pop from the jazz from the rock. It's almost like they fused all three of those to create this music that nobody else could play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was the thing that I couldn't get. Like you're listening to it, and you're like, wow, this is so jazzy, but pop, but prog, but jazz, but like when you're first listening to it, that's kind of what you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out what you're listening to, and eventually, at least for me, it went from like, oh, is it that, is it this, to just like, this is Steely Dan. This is what it is.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Do you know anything about the name of the album, the title track? Maybe we just get there. Maybe we talk to the.
It's generally I do, but not. I don't know a ton about these guys. They were very private. There's not a lot of lore. They didn't really give a lot of interviews.
Well, that's an interesting part. Yeah, they didn't want to do that. Eh? They didn't talk a whole lot about this stuff, about the album, about their music.
No, not at all. They were just about the music. They did not care about the machine or what they had to do, what their obligations were as rock stars. They didn't even tour. They toured for a little while and they stopped. And then they would just record records with all kinds of studio musicians. They would bring people in that they liked.
Well, that's what they did with. I think that they kind of moved to this direction of hiring a lot of session musicians, right? They had a band, they had a core, and then almost like every album, that core slowly dwindled away, almost to the point of this album.
There were musicians that would pop up regularly, like Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers was in there. Steve Gadd, the drummer, was in there often. Skunk Baxter was a regular. He was a guitar player.
Yeah.
But they used 40 musicians on this record.
Nuts.
40.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just getting that sound, just working it out. Like man. But it also, to my understanding, this album took a lot less time than some of their others. Mm-hmm. Because of the amount of time that they would put in on the recording. A lot of overdubs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they would say we overdubbed the overdubs over. So
No way. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep overdubbing the overdubs over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were perfectionists.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about this record. They a lot of people, audiophiles particularly, hold this in very high regard because of the production quality of the record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess it was a team. At least I know there's more than Bill Schnee. I can't remember all the names, but there's quite a bit of people that were behind the mastering of this, and they won a Grammy for it in 1978. I guess the following year it was released. So it does sound great. It does sound great. I mean, even just listening, I was listening to some earbuds at one point just to listen to it again. And like I had one hanging over my ear and I had one in my ear. And I know, don't shoot me, people. Okay. I'm just, that's how I was listening to it at the time. You know, when you got kids running around, you got to be able to hear, you got to know what's going, you got to know what they're breaking as you listen to Steely Dan. But like you could hear something different. Like you could hear the difference just coming out of this earbud hanging here while I listened here. And I was like, oh, what am I missing? And I had to plug it in because like there's some great stuff happening all around you. And yeah, very well produced, great mix, just everything about this is awesome. And no drugs. No drugs. It was a drug-free zone recording this thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they smoked a lot of weed. I didn't know that.
Maybe hard drugs. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, they said recorded in L.A. Drug-free zone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very unique, isn't it?
I mean, anybody can write anything, but that's what they said.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got to be on.
All right. Well, let's go through the tunes then.
Black Cow.
That's a good song. That's a good kickoff tune, isn't it?
Yeah.
Black Cow. Kind of sets the tone.
This was like, okay. This is... And then you start hearing all of the different... My dad used the word textures. All the textures in there, you know? And they start kind of like getting into this vibe, into this mood, and you're like, okay, I'm ready for this. So it takes a little bit of time to sink in, but by the time 5 minutes and 10 seconds have passed, I was sold. I was in. I was all in on Steely Dan.
I remember the first couple times I heard, I started with like Reeling in the Years and like all the popular songs that were a little bit more kind of digestible because they were a little bit more rock. This one is not. I remember hearing the chorus. Some of it you can't make out. Sometimes you can't make the words out, but I remember hearing, "Take your big black cow and get out of here." Black cow being a drink, unless you didn't know that. So you're thinking like, what are they talking about? You know what I mean? It's not like simple like boy meets girl, boy loses girl, all that stuff. It's like there's these very unusual kind of lyrical topics, and we'll get into some of these songs are very dark. They were known for having very dark, sarcastic, like almost funny lyrics.
Black Cow, loved it. Really got me into it, and it was cool. It's cool when it came back around again for like that extra listen as things, in Josie taper off. Black Cow starts it all over again. Yep. Great keys, like just everything. All the pieces in this song are so well placed, like intentional. It's nice. Sometimes it's nice to hear all of this stuff when you're kind of used to listening to just rock and roll. Just be what it is.
Exactly. It's so much more lush and sophisticated, right? And I really kind of, I don't want to sound like an idiot or a snob when I say stuff like that, but it's just because it's funny because I'm not a big prog guy, there's a lot of stuff going on in there and sometimes it's hard to follow, but this is just, I don't know, like there's so much depth to it,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the pop sensibility. Like, I think they're just able, like the way that they're able to still keep it poppy, the way they're still able to keep things within their music super just catchy and singable to like, a mu major chord, it's neat.
That's what I mean. Like that I think that is the unique specialness in this, is that it's not rock musicians kind of aspiring to play better. It's not jazz musicians slumming. It's none of that. But it's a perfect fusion. You can't decipher and kind of take it apart. Like it's like they created a new almost genre of music. So Asia. So in an interview, I think Fagan said, Asia is about the tranquility that can exist when you're involved in quiet relationships with beautiful women. So I think that this...
Yeah, no, I got that.
You know,
Sorry, no, I didn't, Donald, but it makes perfect sense now.
he had alluded to, this is weird, this is like his brother's friend or something like that. His brother's friend married a Korean woman whose name was Asia, A-J-A.
And he was in love with her.
Right. No, not this.
Oh.
Not. I think that he was just kind of observing this relationship,
Okay.
and maybe he wanted to be a part of it. I don't know, but that was his kind of description of, that apparently Asia was inspired by that.
Huh. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Longest song, I think, that they've recorded.
Is it 8 minutes long?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 7:58, but I won't hold it against you. Yeah.
But also,
Great. Yeah.
apparently one of the quickest songs to record on the record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because everybody just had it down.
No kidding. I don't even understand. Like, again, when you think about all the playing that goes into this, you're like, oh, yeah, we just all had it down. You're just like, wow.
Steve Gadd, this is 77. So Steve Gadd is killing the drums.
Yes.
That crazy drum solo, and even towards the end, it's like, holy crap!
Yeah.
Playing.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I think that as they were walking through the studio, Bill Schnee heard them. I think after Steve Gadd had recorded, I don't know. I think it was a song they heard. Like Schnee overheard Fagan and Becker saying, "Yeah, I just don't think he nailed it, or I just don't think he had it, or something like that."
Gadd?
Yeah, and Bill was like, "Wait, are you guys talking about Steve Gadd?" And they're like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay." They're like, "Yeah, we just, we prefer something, somebody that plays a little more on the backbeat, like who is it, Pocoro, John Pocoro, or
Africa,
and Jim, and Jim Keltner." Right, but he's like, okay, I get that, but what he played was absolutely phenomenal.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, no, we agree. We just, so I don't know where it went from there, but that was a conversation overheard. Yeah. I know, because when you listen to it, you're just like, I mean, I don't know. Did Gadd play drums all over this thing, or was that session players?
He was one of a few, I believe, but
that played like on every song.
Yeah,
almost. Anyways,
I don't know if he played on every song, but I know he played on that one.
Yeah. Like it is so good. It's
crazy good. So
good. Yeah, great drumming. Yeah, man's a legend.
Deacon Blues is next.
Boom, best song on the album.
Really?
Yeah, there, I did it. I said it. I love this song. I love it so much.
It is
a great song.
I'm so glad that you like this. I thought for sure you were going to say, I just don't get this.
I very easily could have. You know what? Again, I think I said this before. I don't know why I said this before, but it's like I need to go back and listen to Supertramp and see if for any reason my cerebellum or my hippocampus has evolved in a way to take this music in and appreciate it a little bit more. So
we have to change the name of the episode. Super Trampled. If actually,
it comes
really, that was your idea. I really like that. I thought that was so clever. Super Trampled.
Here you go. Listen to Super Trampled. Yeah, Deacon Blues, love the song. This is great. This is great.
So this was there was two meanings apparently. This is like, there's, what do they reference, an expanding man.
This is the day of the expanding man.
So both those guys were into sci-fi. And again, like they would just be in their room smoking weed and like watching sci-fi movies. But then also they kind of turned it into like this anti-hero thing where they said like, with all the cool jocks and football guys, and I think a football game came on and they were watching like Crimson Tide. And they're like, well, all those heroes, have a name. So, but all the nerds and the losers like us should also have a name. So let's call ourselves like Deacon Blue. And that's where I think the lyric content kind of came from.
They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Doo, doo.
Mm-hmm.
They call me Deacon Blues. Da, 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 da. Remember that song, Next Time You Turn the Lights Down, fellas. Da, 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 da.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know where I went there. Yeah, very, moody song. You know, maybe the turn off is the dying behind the wheel, but oh man, big tune. Love this tune. I can't stop singing. I can't get it out of my head.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
It's great. It is a great song.
It's a great song. Fantastic.
Yeah. It was a huge hit for them too.
Peg.
Peg is funny. Peg is a great example of like those kind of sardonic, very like cynical, dark lyrics. Because Peg is kind of fun, right? It's like Michael McDonald is singing. He's got a high voice, so it's like Peg, do 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 do. But Peg is I guess Peg is about a real person, but they won't say who it is. And somebody asked them, is it? I can't remember her name. She was a Broadway actress, and then she was in a movie. And is it like Peg Holloway or something like that? And they said no, but it is about a real person, but not that person. So that was like typical Steely Dan, right? But if you listen to the words, there's some very interesting lyrics. And apparently it's about like the seedy kind of LA photo shoot that, didn't involve clothing, from the perspective of a person who was watching it.
I recognize this song. I recognize it when it came on, but not because I'd heard this song before. You know what song I heard?
No.
I Know by De La Soul. Do you know the New York hip hop group?
The fact that I'm past the noose, but because I love you.
The bass line in that song is ridiculous too.
Yes. Yeah.
You could just literally see the guy's fingers like
It's all over
he's
the
working, man.
Have you seen there's like a meme that's like just working on my jazz chords, and it's like somebody on the guitar, it's like the fingers are bent over like this, they're tucked underneath the strings and stuff like that. Yeah, they're flipped over like, oh man, it's so good. That's all I could imagine. Yeah. All right, Home at Last.
Great tune.
Yeah.
And you think about Stuart Copeland, and his drumming style is just like so crisp and precise, right? Though this whole record is that.
I can't wrap my head around that. I'm like, how? Like, I just when you hear some of the drumming on this, you're just like, how is it even possible to do something like that? Like, do they overdub drums? Is overdubbing drums a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
The tricky thing, Rick Emmett was just telling me about this actually. The tricky thing about doing that back in the day was that they had to cut, they had to splice tape, right? They couldn't do it it wasn't digital yet. And if it was like a 1/4-inch tape, you had to mark it with a piece of white chalk or whatever it was and cut it and then put the tapes together. And they would have, like, you'd walk in the studio and tapes would be hanging around and they would say, okay, that's take. We put that one with this one. Drummers played along with the click track.
Yeah.
If they couldn't keep time, right? If they had like what they call a bad clock. But some drummers couldn't play to a click track. And the thing about comping drums is that it's got to be the same time all the way across the song from start to finish. So that's like the one bed track that you can cut guitar parts like all day long, but the drums have to be the same, time all the way through. And it's really, really tough. So to answer your question, no, overdubbing drums is very, very difficult.
I got the news.
Yeah, good tune. Another, it's funny because I don't know, some of this, if you don't get what Steely Dan is trying to do, it's very easy to mock it. Do you know what I mean?
Not really, because I'm not sure what they were trying to do, I guess, but I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the funk infusion of like, especially this one. There was some great parts, great lines. It's just awesome. And then Josie wrapped it up.
So good. This is such a good song.
Yeah. Was this single number 3? Was it the third single, or was it?
I'm not sure. It was a single. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah.
But again, the lyrics for this song are very, very interesting to me. When you have you listened to the lyrics at all?
I know it's about Josie coming home, something like that. But yeah, no, that's as far as I get, as far as I've gotten.
So the lyrics are very open-ended, but you know that there's this person, Josie, who seems to be a favorite of the male contingent of the town.
Okay.
And they're very anxious for her to get home.
Right.
But a number of questions are raised. So where's Josie coming from? Was Josie in jail? Because Josie had a fire in her eyes and she was a, raw flame. And there was the description of Josie kind of led you to believe that maybe, she wasn't the kind of girl that you'd want to bring home to mom and dad. Right. But it's just very cleverly kind of put across. Like, what did Josie do? Who is Josie, and why are the guys so interested in seeing Josie? But again, when you listen to the song, just on the face of it, it's just a very pleasant song.
Yeah, no, I feel like digging in and dissecting Steely Dan lyrics might ruin some Steely Dan songs for you if you try and get too deep into them. If you don't want to know about that kind of stuff,
That's true.
Again, recorded in LA. I think they were kind of considered an LA band, but band feels very New Yorkish. It feels very New York. Like the I don't know what it is about it, but maybe it is the jazz.
I do.
Like maybe it's I don't know, but it just feels
those
like
dudes are from New York. That's why.
Right? I know, but I mean for all of I guess the LA feeling that they like recording it in LA, right? And I don't know. I just I think spending a lot of their time there, but they do a great job of just being New York on the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
from the guy from Ontario, Canada.
I know.
But I mean, hey, I am a guy giving Steely Dan's Asia a 5 out of 5 over here. So I mean, might as well be reporting for the Rolling Stone magazine,
How do you feel after listening to that record and knowing that you got out of it what you got out of it?
I feel fucking smarter. I feel like I'm ready to go and join SpaceX or fucking NASA or something. Apologize for my French, but I just feel so fucking smart.
Wow. You're like a Mensa candidate all of a sudden.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I've been floating this whole time. I haven't been standing.
And nobody came out from behind the curtain.
Not yet. Just give it time. Still have time. We're still going here. But you know what's going to happen the minute we hit stop, right? The minute we hit stop recording, that's when.
I actually saw somebody over your left shoulder there. Just
Did you?
Around the 30-minute mark. He had like a goalie mask on, I think. It's very peculiar.
Thank God. Hey, as long as it wasn't a scream mask, then I'm fine. I like the goalie mask. It's more friendly. It's friendlier. Great movies. Hey, by the way, we're approaching Halloween. Do you have any favorite Halloween movies? Do you have any horror movies you like to watch?
I like the. You know what? I like the traditional ones. I like the Friday the 13th. So I like the Halloweens.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about that whole media is when it started to become more kind of psychological. When you focused on torture. And real emotional pain, in Hostel and Saw.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The slasher films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one thing.
Yeah.
It's just they're gory but it's very linear, right? And it's very simple. But when you started, those Ringu movies and the emotional pain that people went through and being tortured, that's when I was done.
The supernatural stuff where you're just like, that could never happen. When you're watching Saw and you're giving somebody a really bad idea.
Right.
It's like you just need the one person to watch this that's going to be like, I have a bathroom in my basement. You're just, right? Right? Yeah. So, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. We watched Knock at the Cabin Door. Have you heard of this movie? M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, this
Great
guy.
filmmaker.
Yeah, he is, and this one was very much like kind of like that psychological type thing where it was just kind of freaky. It was freaky, whereas like these people were making sacrifices, and with every sacrifice would bring a new plague, and in order to stop the plagues, they like a member of the family had to kill each other in order to stop the plague in the end of the world. But until they could do that, there would be sacrifices would keep being made, and so it was just like you kind of like so like.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah, like I was even telling Karina, I was like,
right?
Yeah.
You want to like drag a razor across your wrist when you're done watching it.
well, seriously, that's why I'm like, I was almost like, can we just watch Pet Sematary for God's sake? Because I just want to watch a movie like that, where you're just like, I know it's just a horror movie. I know that's just what this is. Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Those movies for me, love them.
Right.
It's great,
Same,
perfect
yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, good. Yeah, sorry. Okay, hey, what's next, man? What's in the what's in your back pocket? What you pulling out?
Thinking
I know
about this time now.
Yeah.
You know, Steely Dan was pretty bold, right?
You took a shot, my friend. Mm-hmm. You took a shot.
So I'm gonna go kind of bold in a different way.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you Billy Joel's "The Stranger."
Whoa. Okay. Ooh. All right. God help me. Okay, here we go. Billy Joel.
I'm telling
Stranger.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Like what happened here tonight bodes very well for Billy Joel. Okay. We'll just say that.
Okay. All right. The Piano Man. I'll try this. Is that song on there? Piano Man? Is that on Stranger? The Stranger?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, good. Then I know absolutely nothing on this album. If Piano Man's not on it, then I don't know it.
It's not.
Oh, what's the other one though? What's The Fire? We Didn't Start the Fire? Is that on this?
No, that's a bad song.
Oh.
That's terrible. That's an 80s song.
Oh, okay. Is this a
Stranger came out in
70s
the
album?
70s.
Oh,
Pardon?
wow. It's going to be good. Yeah.
I think you can like it.
All right.
If you like Steely Dan, I think, like I said, I predict good things.
Okay, man.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see.
You've emboldened me now.
I know. You're going to start taking risks. Like me when I sports bet. I'm just going to be like, yeah, this could happen, right? Fucking $300 later.
Oh.
Over the course of like a year, Brent. I've won a lot. I just
You're
haven't.
just saying that because your wife is watching.
Yeah, of course. But I've won a lot. I just haven't withdrawn a lot. Okay, I've won. I've been over like $150, and then I don't know where it goes. All of a sudden, I have nothing to withdraw anymore. So
As he takes a big glug of his drink. Go to bed, kids. That is gonna go bad.
what are you doing up? Get out of here. Yeah, I'm not like that. Not all the time. All right. Great, man. Okay, let's friggin' do this. Billy Joel, we crush Steely Dan.
Do it.
Let's do it.